Talking to Emily Starrett-Wright from Amnesty on Campus. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
So tell me, what is Amnesty on Campus doing? What are you up to?
Well, we're the campus branch of Amnesty International, which is a worldwide human rights organisation with a huge membership. And we basically do what we can to contribute, or whatever we can, to the fighting for human rights, and empowering the university campus and the wider community to do so as well.
Cool. So what kind of activities have you been up to? What has your focus been?
This year we've been doing events which link to Amnesty's wider campaigns. So obviously the Olympics in China was a big deal for us, as well as the situation in Burma or Myanmar was also something we focused on. Yeah,
and there's been some recent arrests
in Burma. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they've arrested some pro-democracy activists. And have jailed them for 65 years. And in Myanmar, you can be guaranteed that they did not get a fair trial. They'll probably be subject to torture, and they're probably just trying to make their voices heard for democracy as well. We
were talking with Nang Koko here just a few weeks ago and talking about the threat that Burmese activists face, and now we see that
it's one of the most brutal regimes in the world.
Yeah.
For democracy activists, I think, are incredibly brave,
And in terms of, and we'll come on to the other things again in a moment, but and just going back to the Beijing Olympics, so there was a huge worldwide focus around the Olympics, but the kind of media's taken their attention away. You're still working on that issue?
Yes, we're especially on the behalf of several individuals, which is traditionally what Amnesty sort of stemmed from at the beginning, such as Hu Jia, people like that, who are incredibly brave. All the people we work for kind of are brave, they have to be, who have been working at grassroots levels in their own communities in China to sort of save people's lives and get justice for people. Hu Jia, I think, was an activist for women in his own village who had forced abortions, and he was a lawyer trying to get them justice, and has been in jail, and his wife has intimidation every single day. So people like that
it's quite disturbing, the deliberate persecution of lawyers and people.
Yes, it's the people who have a voice for the community, and they'll always be the first ones that get targeted, at the lawyers, journalists, writers, people who will speak out for others.
So your activities largely focused around individual cases. You said that's how it stemmed from.
It started from that. Amnesty's been running since the 60s, I think. So we have now got wider campaigns, such as we work with Oxfam on the ban small control arms campaign, things like that. But we do, letter writing is usually for individuals. We'll do that at most meetings. But we've also been doing wider campaigns and just trying to get human rights issues talked about. One of our major events in the year is our debate. This year it was on a local issue because we kind of felt that would get people interested. And it was on that New Zealand has a human rights obligation to ratify the UN Declaration of Indigenous Rights, because we haven't done, and we were one of 4 countries at the time that hadn't. The other being Australia, the USA and Canada.
The rich Anglo nations once again.
I know, and I mean Australia has just a fantastic record on Indigenous rights. So proud to be in with them, and that was fantastic. We had so many people turn up, and we had Don Brash and Peter Sharple speaking, so it was quite good.
What was Don Brash saying?
He was on the negative team, and he was saying that he was concerned that if we signed it, then Indigenous rights might outdo everybody else's rights, and we should all be treated equally.
Oh yeah, okay. So when was the debate?
That was in June or July, I think. And we'll be doing another one next year, maybe on women's rights next year. Which is something Amnesty's sort of focusing on at the moment. The White Ribbon Day is on November 25th, on Tuesday, which is the start of activism against violence against women, and rape, and getting pro-education for women, things like that. So, yeah, if you guys are on air on that day, wear the white ribbon.
So, sorry, when was that again?
That's on Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. White Ribbon Day about violence against women.
Yeah, violence against women.
So is this an international campaign, Amnesty's?
That Amnesty's part of, And if you're in Auckland at the time, you can head down to the London Bar in central Auckland, and it's a $10 donation at the door, and there's artists performing for the White Ribbon Day campaign. And there's also stalls, such as at the Grey Lynn Festival, there'll be one. There's stalls in quite a few places. So everyone can get involved with that.
It seems to me, I mean, we've just had this case with Nia
Glassy.
And the issue of violence against children seems to me intimately connects with violence against
yes,
women.
I think it is. I think it's always, there's always a problem in society if it's the most vulnerable members of it who are being abused.
Yes.
And I think that's something, it's a dark side of New Zealand society, I think. It's a lot of violence against children.
So what are the kinds of things that people can do to support Amnesty? I mean, in this particular campaign, because it's quite a diffuse, like writing a letter to the Chinese government, it seems a fairly straightforward thing to do.
But the violence against women is kind of insidious.
Yeah, so how do we, what can people do to support that campaign?
A lot of it's about changing people's attitudes. I think it'd be great if more All Blacks, for example, were the ones saying we should stop violence against women. There's some good campaigns started at kind of council level recently, like there's one in Waitakere with famous New Zealanders who are being all...
Is it true that domestic violence goes up when the All Blacks lose games?
Apparently. I mean, I've heard that second-hand only, but it would seem right. You can also sign, there's a petition, I don't know how good the petition will do, but if you want to sign it, it's stoptheviolence.org, I think, or search for UNIFEM on the internet. And it's a UN-sponsored one, but Amnesty's been instrumental in getting signatures for that.
Right.
Contributed, the majority of the signatures have come from Amnesty's campaign.
Can we find it through the Amnesty website as well?
Yeah, it will be on the Amnesty website as well, or head down to one of the local events. But yeah, changing attitudes. If you think hear people joking about rape, anything like that, that's the sort of thing you want to. You might sound like an idiot saying, "Oh, mate, that's not cool," but that's what people should be saying to change attitudes. And I don't think you'll sound like an idiot, really. Because I think we do have a problem with taking rape seriously. And some people, not everyone, but I mean, if you look at Clint Records, he's just had a certificate of character from the law, which is it kind of goes to show.
Yeah. Look, thank you very much for coming in. It's been really good talking to you, and I think it's great work. I think that the work that Amnesty International does is really important, so thank you very much for
Thank you. Thanks for giving us a chance to talk about it.
Cool.
It's cool.